Good morning, Crescents. Can I get you anything? You know, new camera battery, maybe some lens cleaner? No? Okay, let's just get into today's video then. So today, I'm really excited. We're actually doing something that I'm actually excited to do for once. If you don't know, my 1-year anniversary was back in, what was it, December? And I put out a 1-year anniversary video in January. So with that being said, it's coming up actually on my 1-year 6-month anniversary now. And I wanted to do a special video for you guys. Now, if you didn't notice, in that video, there was a lot of mistakes and date problems and confusion and everything in the video. So what I want to do today is analyze this and pinpoint it to my mental health and put a mental health update for you guys. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got my notes here just like last time, and we're just gonna go ahead and read through this 1.5-page list of what happened in the video. And yes, I did refer to the video for the notes. So we're gonna go ahead and get started, and I'll insert clips over and in between everything that we talk about. After I got to LA, I found myself to be a little bit disappointed because once I got there, there was like really nothing that I wanted to do. And it took hours for me to realize that the reason I didn't want to do anything was because I was depressed. Because of that, I started to experience anxiety. So the first note says, birthday, I was emotional, didn't know what to do. So obviously you guys know that I have had issues previously on Black Friday with a really bad panic attack where I had to be sent home from work. And then later on, I figured out that that was a PTSD episode and I was diagnosed with PTSD. But what I also didn't tell you was that I was also diagnosed with bipolar disorder, which automatically comes with depression, and then I also had anxiety, which automatically comes with PTSD. So on my birthday, December 23rd of 2018, I was emotional and didn't know what to do. My birthday rolls around. December 23rd of 2018. I didn't have very much e-cig out of respect of hanging with my mom that day. As a result of me not having any of my vape, or very little of my vape for my birthday because I was hanging out with my mom, I ended up being very emotional. Like, very emotional. So a part of being bipolar is making snap decisions and just putting yourself out there and doing some risky things. So I didn't plan ahead, and my mom and I went up to LA and we didn't really know what to do. Once we got there, we were just there. And for some reason I kept saying like, well, let's go to Sunset Boulevard, but then for some reason we didn't. And I became very emotional. Mom and I came back to the Laguna Niguel, Mission Viejo, Aliso Viejo area, and we went to Stadium Brewery and just sat and talked for hours about anything and everything, because I was having an emotional breakdown because I hadn't had any of my e-cig all day long. So that was definitely something else. It wasn't until the next day that I decided, hey, you know, I've already went a full day with barely any e-cig, why not continue and just not have e-cig anymore and film it? You know what I mean? Because I felt like it would be a great educational video for those who are looking to quit smoking. What I didn't realize was that quitting smoking was going to mess with my mental health immensely more than it would mess with the average person. So the amount of times that I tried to quit, I put in the video how many times I tried to quit. I didn't even put every single time that I tried to quit. I just put like 7 times out there. And the reason why I'm bringing this up right now is because I read an article recently that said when it comes to bipolar disorder, because of the addictive part of the personality of being manic, wow, I totally just lost my train of thought. Oh, so because of being manic, it makes it 10 times harder for a bipolar disorder, for somebody with bipolar disorder to quit any sort of drug, whether that be, hard drugs on the street or cigarettes, e-cig, even coffee. It makes it 10 times harder for us to quit because it's a part of our personality. Now, I feel like when we get into this, I really want to talk about something. I want to talk about why I personally think that I should have gotten professional help rather than quitting cold turkey, because it's 10 times harder for you to quit. And I obviously was going through some major changes in my life and some things that I really needed to just, update you guys on. And mental health wise, I really needed to not cure, but I really needed to make myself better, like get better. Because while it's questionable to be a smoker and to be bipolar, so the reason why I feel like I should have gotten professional help is because it's already hard as it is, and on top of that, I have technically 4 different mental illnesses, even though all 4 of them kind of couple together separately. So I have like PTSD with panic attacks, and then I have bipolar with depression, if that makes sense. Although I do also have generalized anxiety, which means I'm anxious all the time, and then I also have ADHD, adult ADHD. So there's those 2, but I don't really consider those to be too big of an issue for me. But I have no idea where I was going with this, and that would be the adult ADHD kicking in right there. Oh yeah, so that's why I think that if you're gonna quit smoking, you should get professional help, because you might not know what's going on in your mind, and you don't know how it's gonna affect you and the world around you. So there's that. So as for the peanuts, the reason why peanuts worked when I was quitting smoking is not only because of the motion that you're making, but also because here's the health benefits that I have written down for peanuts. Peanuts protect the heart, and if you didn't know, my upper left ventricle has something wrong with the flap that allows the blood to flow through. So peanuts were definitely helping my heart in a way to be able to not have issues. It also lowers cholesterol level, which can be bad, but if you already have a high cholesterol, it would be good in terms of that. But so cholesterol ensures cell wall function properly. It's converted into vitamin D, which is a good thing. It's used to make sex and stress hormones. It's used to make sex and stress hormones. And then it boosts the mental function or the memory. Vitamins and antioxidants, including B9, E, zinc, magnesium, and resveratrol. So when I was on my first day in the video, I had said that I was craving a little bit more than normal, even though I hadn't yet gone more than I usually do without my e-cig. And the reason for that is, if you don't know, I also have endometriosis, so I constantly have estrogen hormones just regulating throughout my body, which automatically makes me extremely chemically imbalanced as it is. And then on top of that, all of the disorders I have also create some sort of chemical imbalance. So that's why it made it 10 times harder to quit the first day rather than, waiting a day or whatever, however long it is to quit smoking. for the imbalances to start to kick in. And then of course there's the dopamine and the fatigue, which is all a part of the quitting smoking flu that you're supposed to have.
Literally experiencing the worst craving of it all. It's day 4 and they say you're supposed to be over the hump by day 3. And my throat feels like I have to cough constantly. I'm sweating like a pig. I feel really shaky. I have a headache and I'm experiencing the worst craving ever. On top of that, my nose is running for whatever reason. I don't know why your nose would be affected, but I've been eating peanut butter M&Ms and peanuts all day. Oh, and I'm out of breath too. Like that's weird, right? That's really weird. Oh, and earlier I had a really bad breakdown and actually legitimately started crying over how much I love Gabby.
To be honest with you, the dopamine is a part of being manic, and I'm almost absolutely positive that this video, quitting smoking, actually triggered my first manic episode, which allowed me to be diagnosed with bipolar disorder. So that would be a lot of dopamine and serotonin that would be flushing into my brain, causing me to be up and happy and ready to do things and making jokes and doing things that I don't normally do. There's the fatigue part, which is being tired but also being unable to sleep. I was absolutely exhausted, especially on Christmas Day, and that was really hard. And as for the confusion part, all of this here,
the day after Christmas. It is now Saturday, and we started this on Monday. Was it Monday? I have to look. No, we started this on Thursday. My bad. But we started this on a Thursday, which is the day after I uploaded my last video. It is now Saturday, and we started this on Thursday. So it has been Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Wait, no. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday, Saturday. Has it only really been 2 days? It's literally only been 2 days, and it feels like it's been a week at this point. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. No, 3 days.
As for the confusion part, it wasn't actually the quitting smoking that was making me really confused. It was the ADHD just kicking in and really being like, you have no idea what's going on here. We need to go do this. Your mind is already distracted and ready to go do this, which also could be a part of the bipolar disorder, because a part of bipolar disorder is your mind is racing, but you have no one thought at all. So it's like you've got this, and this that you need to do, but you can't, but you're thinking them all at once, so it's making your brain also go blank, so you can't think of anything else. And the way I just talked sounds a lot like what it sounds like in your head. So, yeah, that would be a part of the ADHD and the bipolar disorder. So, and then you've also got the frustration, and I keep forgetting, the frustration and the dopamine. So you're super frustrated because you can't have your cigarette, and you really want your cigarette or your e-cig, and it's becoming to a point where you're desperate and you would go for a cigarette, even though when you were smoking you probably wouldn't have ever gone for one. But then like your dopamine levels go up because your body is learning how to recreate that dopamine, and then you get really happy. I could be wrong on this. It could be the bipolar disorder also doing that in my very first manic episode, but this is basically what I'm guessing is happening. So when you quit smoking, you start to realize that you're all of a sudden fatigued and tired and unhappy and irritable, and that's because nicotine is a stimulant. It adds dopamine and serotonin to the brain already, so you don't have to worry about it. And quitting smoking actually caused like chemical imbalances in my brain as it was already, and I just completely like drove myself crazy that week and didn't know what I was doing. I mean, in my manic episode, I literally ended up quitting the video early and just started filming for some reason the cut scenes and me talking to you guys like this, like I'm doing right now. And I really wanted to finish the whole video, but it was like at that point I felt like I already had enough footage, which I did, I wasn't wrong, but I felt like I already had enough footage to be able to make the video and make it seem extremely interesting, which my friend also helped me out with the end little cut scene, which was really fun to do, where I was beating up the e-cig and throwing it in the trash. Really fun to do, but I already felt like I had enough footage as it was, so I already started on day 5, I think it is, to film this part of the video like what I'm doing right now. Speaking of headaches, I have one right now, which means I'm probably gonna go ahead and stop right here and then film a little bit more tomorrow. But we're gonna go ahead and talk about like headaches, insomnia, anxiety, depression, and what happened after the video had ended. Actually, I could probably finish this part now and then we can talk about, tomorrow we can talk about what happened after the video had ended and what was to come over the next following months so that I could update you on my mental health journey. So, nicotine is a stimulant, as I was saying, and it was giving me headaches to get rid of it because I was no longer getting the dopamine and the serotonin that the nicotine was already giving me. But it also gave me insomnia, which caused me to stay up until late hours of the night, which, I mean, it's kind of also a mental health thing, staying up until late hours into the night. And that would be because of my bipolar disorder, and I was definitely in a manic episode when I filmed that video. But my anxiety and depression kind of got worse as well. I started to panic a little bit. I had my family over, and my social anxiety kind of just really went through the roof, and I just did not want to be around anyone. There were too many people around for me. I don't even know why I was born into this family because I have so many family members and it's really bad for my mental health. But anyway, it caused me to stoop into like a really low depression as well, which could also be me just coming out of the manic episode and then whatever. So the anxiety, depression, PTSD, that was definitely, and the bipolar disorder, that was definitely like triggered by quitting smoking and what really happened during that video. So tomorrow we're gonna go ahead and talk about anxiety, depression, PTSD, and the new friends that I had found and what happened between me and those new friends. And we're gonna talk about everything that happened between that period in time and now, and where I stand now with my mental health update. So I will see you in a second because well, it's a video, but it'll be tomorrow for me. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow / in a second for you. Hi, I'm back. And it is the next day, obviously. I don't look the same as I did yesterday, obviously. I guess today I'm gonna like start getting into what has happened since my quitting smoking video. It's a long story. Just put it out there. It's a long story, and it's more of a mental health update than it is talking about me quitting smoking. Ever since like I quit smoking, I started really going through a lot. It was literally so intense for me that like I'm surprised I'm still here today. I went to a psychiatrist and a therapist for a good amount of time before I finally found the right medication for me. The medications that I was on were really, really, really just not working out for me, and I could feel that my mania and my depressive episodes were just so bad. And on top of that, my PTSD was so triggered at this point that it was just straight up bad. Like, I cried a lot. A lot of it was me reliving a lot of moments from when I was with my ex, but mostly, I probably shouldn't be putting this on my channel, but mostly because of like sexual content. I couldn't watch videos or movies that had, you know, scenes with straight couples in them, and it just was really hard for me. I had a couple of friends. One of them ended up not being my friend anymore in the end, but I had a couple of friends and they didn't understand what triggering was, and I was definitely very triggered over the course of those months. I tried my hardest not to be triggered, not to start fights, but it was so hard. You know what I mean? Like, it was not cool. With that being said, I'm gonna continue to go through the list of things that I have written down in my book. And it's not anything to do with like what happened after, you know, my quitting smoking video, because I don't think it's right to tell that story on this channel when it's just not right, we'll put it that way. So quitting smoking, it caused my first manic episode, which had happened in the week that I made the video, the quitting smoking video, and it was definitely different than I ever imagined a manic episode would ever be. But basically what happens is when you're smoking, you're giving yourself like a natural kick of serotonin and dopamine. And when you quit smoking, obviously your levels go down and you become very depressed. But the natural response is for your body to figure out how to give yourself that serotonin and dopamine back. And unfortunately for me, it caused my first manic episode for my bipolar disorder. And as for my equilibrium, I had said that quitting smoking was messing with my equilibrium. That's not true. For a few years, probably about a year and a half actually, I should say, I had this ear problem going on where I was dealing with swimmer's ear, and then I had eczema in my ears, and I think that might be what caused my equilibrium to be off. But also, I have a lazy eye, and as you guys know, I'm not wearing it today, but as you guys know, I've been wearing a patch on my good eye so that I could start seeing out of my lazy eye, and it's really caused my equilibrium to be off. Anytime I would get up when I was wearing the patch, I would start to fall over. So I'm pretty sure that is where the equilibrium issues were coming in. So I've written down the effect one little drug has on a bipolar human being, including like quitting smoking, including like, you know, e-cigarettes and cigarettes and anything that with nicotine in it. The effect is that drugs stabilize your mood, and my mood was definitely up and down, up and down, up and down, as it is with bipolar disorder anyway. And on top of that, it was a feel-good drug, so anytime that I felt like I was starting to get angry, depressed, upset, having a smoke was my best bet on getting that to go away, if that makes sense. And because of that, it makes it 10 times harder for a bipolar person to quit smoking. So the fact that I somehow managed to do it, cold turkey no less.
Cold turkey.
I'm so proud of myself that I was able to do that and because of the pure fact that it's 10 times harder. It means that if I can do it, then anybody can. Quitting smoking definitely messes with your awakeness and awareness, but also a part of it was my bipolar disorder. As a bipolar, you tend to have issues sleeping, and then you tend to sleep in a little later than normal. So that, I'm sure, was where that came from. It's not a symptom of quitting smoking at all, like I thought it was, but the awakeness really it was really affected by the quitting smoking having triggered my first manic episode. Oh, no. Is that better? Look at my eyes. This is what happens when I don't take off my makeup. I'm having the worst possible endo pain ever right now. Like, legitimately, I was almost in tears a minute ago. And Max isn't letting me sleep. So, when I said lethargy when I was going down the stairs to go get coffee, lethargy sucks, and I'm going downstairs for a third cup of coffee. This one's about half empty, but it's also cold. What I meant by that was I quickly stooped into my first depressive episode since having my manic episode. And that means that I was all of a sudden just always tired and just wanted to sleep the entire time that I was quitting. But if you know me at all, then you know that I hate naps. So I would force myself to stay awake. It didn't matter how tired I was constantly drinking coffee because of, the motion addiction part of quitting smoking. I was getting panic attacks on the regular, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week. Even with makeup on, I feel and look like a mess. I look dead. I look stressed. If I could get past this, I don't know if I'd be happy again. But where and when will this life take me? And how do I get out of this stress that the life it will make me be? I just want to be who I want to be. I just want to be me without the consequences of life, without the life without 3. I just want to be without certainty. I just want to climb that tree and be a hermit for the day without anyone wondering if I'm okay in any way. I just want to run away from the life that I lead. And I think that might have been a part of my PTSD, but it very well could have been, just a part of my generalized anxiety with panic attacks. I would be on a call with my friends, and then all of a sudden something would trigger me, and I would just have to turn off the call because I was so upset by whatever had caused a trigger. My mania, what mania does is, mania is not happiness. So when you think of mania, you generally think of happiness, but that's not what mania is at all. What mania is it's a heightened feeling of whatever emotion that you're in. And that emotion can be anything. It can be depression, so you feel like you have to get up and distract yourself from the depression. It could be anger. Your anger tends to get way more out of control than the average person's does. And then there's also, you know, sadness, for instance, which often would turn into a panic attack for me. And then my singing, I had told that story about me driving in the car, and it had nothing to do with quitting smoking, but I was singing, you know, I'm going down Crown Valley, and I'm singing at the top of my lungs, say what you mean out loud. The inability to sleep part of quitting smoking. And I spend the next 2 hours, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. in my car out front trying to perfect singing Thank You Next. Well, I think that I'm finally experiencing the inability to sleep and procrastinating going to bed on time part of the nicotine withdrawals, because I just spent an hour and a half trying to perfect my singing Thank You Next. And so that part of the video was it was a part of the mania. It was definitely a part of the mania. It really just all of a sudden was just like I was feeling happiness. I think my body went into a little bit of a manic episode to protect my feelings from the PTSD so that I wouldn't have a panic attack driving by my ex's house. And the day that I got only 6.5 hours of sleep might have been from, you know, the cramps that I was feeling from my endometriosis, but also I kind of feel like that was part of the mania, because sometimes mania won't let you sleep at all. So I really kind of think that even though I was having those cramps, I could have easily gotten up, gotten medicine, and went back to bed, but I didn't. So I really think that that was a part of the mania. And then as for the confusion, if you didn't notice this, number one, after recording this, I realized something. If you want, or after editing, I should say, after editing this, I realized something. And if you haven't noticed, all of my fixing my mistakes, for the most part, those mistakes were me fixing the date. And I realized something. I think I have been more confused than I've ever been in my entire life. Not only does quitting smoking mess with endometriosis, not only does it give you flu-like symptoms, not only do you have to go through the withdrawals and this and that, but it also makes you extremely confused. Then you probably didn't know that I was very confused when I was making the video, when I was filming the video. I was very, very confused. And I don't think that that was a part of quitting smoking. It was more a part of the mania, because what happens when you have mania is you have racing thoughts, but those thoughts are racing so fast that it's almost like you have no thoughts at all. So that's what I have written down for this video, I guess. I'm gonna try and make it as entertaining as possible for you guys, and then hopefully I can keep up with making videos, because I feel so much better, to be honest with you, ever since my medications started to kick in and I started to feel okay again. I really just want to start making weekly videos for you guys. So if you're excited about that, don't forget to give this video a great big thumbs up, because it helps me out a lot. It lets me know that you like this kind of thing. And don't forget to subscribe and become a member of the Crescent family. And then don't forget to kiss that bell icon, because that bell icon is going to let you know when I upload, the moment that I upload. And I will see you in another video.